innovations. For our final speaker today, Hasnat Noor Chowdhury, General Manager, Business Development, CYCLO, Recycled Cotton from Bangladesh. Hasnat, over to you.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Stephen, can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Right. I think this is fantastic. What's this webinar, this arrangement that you've done. And it's great to be part of this discussion. A couple of very interesting points from Rakesh and Buchu earlier in their presentations, and very good to see Cytex and Recyclum's presentation as well. So I'll just get straight into it. I'm just going to share my screen. I hope everybody can see it. Stephen, is it visible?
Yes.
Can we see it?
Yes, perfect. Yes.
All right. Okay. So just before I start, I'll just a quick introduction again. I'm Hasnat. I represent CYCLO Recycled Fibers. CYCLO Recycled Fibers is in the category of recycling in the textile value or supply chain. We are tier 3 or tier 4 if you're a brand or a retailer looking or listening in. Within the recycling category, obviously, when you've seen Andrea, he's part of the chemical subcategory. We fall under the mechanical subcategory. So just as an introduction, just to be clear on that, what I'll be doing today can be a bit different. It might be a bit weird as well, but I hope everybody can just tag in. We'll just build up towards who we are and what our process and our product and our services offer. But I'll just have a quick glimpse at the industry. Then following that, again, like I said, we'll be looking into who we are and what we do, and how it works for us and our partners and all the brand and retailers that are already tagged with us, and how this can be a success for the future. Of course, scaling is a big issue, but we'll address that as well, or we'll have a short discussion on that as well. So just getting straight into it. I hope you can see the slide. Stephen, please do let me know if I get stuck up, yeah?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Everything's fine.
Sure. Thank you. So again, like I said, just to have a feel, just to understand what the drivers can be, we need to understand what the market is. And I know Rakesh has touched on a lot of points in terms of the market. I'm just going to supplement that. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but just to let you know, key things to point out of this slide is, if you can see my cursor, or if you can see under the global textile market information, you have the 2 at the bottom, which is the global cotton consumption forecast. And this is where I would say that, yes, while I did say that we are mechanical recycling, we are in that category. We focus on the cotton part of the textile value chain in itself. So knowing that this is the global, and this is the global picture, and of course, my references are at the bottom. Knowing that this is the global picture, we are basing ourselves out of Bangladesh, and I'll come on to that a lot later in the slides, where we are specifically located in terms of our manufacturing or our supply units. So out of Bangladesh, we could say that Bangladesh largely bases itself out of on cotton exports. It's probably the 2nd or the 3rd largest in the world after China. It's us and Vietnam, or Bangladesh and Vietnam, that's in loggerheads for 2nd and 3rd. Considering this industrial market or market information, again, an assumptuous information or analysis on the possible impacts. All of this is based on the cotton consumption assumption, and also on an analysis that's conducted by Made to Flow, a third party that's connected with us, that collaborates with us, helps us to analyze key parameters that we believe are important for us to understand and take further. The 5 that we've highlighted here are the CO2 emissions, water usage, energy consumption, land used, and the dyes and chemicals. These come up first and foremost in any discussion that you relate to circularity or even sustainability. And even though these are more technical, but it's the basis of these 5 parameters that we surround our conversations on. So again, just the numbers are there for everyone to see. Going into the next slide is just to highlight and indicate to you what the linear model in the textile supply chain or value chain looks like. Remember, we're talking about going from linear to circular, as Buchu and even Rakesh has mentioned. Now, in this linear model, we can see that if you look at the picture here, again, the references at the bottom there, the cotton that I was mentioning that we focus on, or the textile value chain focuses its production on, by and large, is produced at a paddy field in India or wherever, in whatever part of the world. There are dyes and chemicals used in that stage. Then when it's spun into a yarn, there's dyes and chemicals used there as well, possibly, not all the time. Then when it's knitted into a fabric, there's dyes and chemicals used there as well. There's a washing, there's a dyeing process as well. Again, dyes and chemicals are included in that or involved in that. And then finally, it gets exported to the consumer market or to the retail. And we as consumers then use these T-shirts or these garments, or in whatever form it can be. It could be T-shirts, it could be pants, it could be hats, caps, whatever it is, we end up using it. So it's for us, all of us, to understand, and I know everybody's well versed in this, it's just for all of us to recap and understand that this is the impact on it. In the previous slide, I showed you the energy consumption, the impacts on the CO2 emissions, the energy consumption, landfill. Here I'm giving you a clearer picture on the dyes and chemicals in itself, because you probably want to know how and when and how or where, right? So having seen that, I'd like to go straight into addressing what the market problem is and where we come in. The market problem is a dependency on cotton. And then again, like I showed you in the earlier slide, it has its impact. And point 2 supplements that, the fact that the impact on the environment is because of the usage of dyes and chemicals and the linear process in itself, the energy consumption in the linear process in itself. In this linear process, the other point here is, and I think everybody knows this, is that there's a lot of textile scraps or fabric scraps or fabric cut clip scraps that are generated, right? So with all of that in mind, CYCLO has a very simple circular process, and I'm going to project this very simply, and this is actually the core of my whole discourse today, or my whole narrative today. You can see, if I have to start from the collection and sorting, that we do collect what we offer, or what our process encourages is collecting of textile scraps and waste from these fabric mills that are producing your conventional garments or your conventional fabric, or in whatever construction and whatever form. Those cotton clips or wastages are 100% cotton based again, and we focus on the 100% cotton based fabrics and clips. We take that, we put it through what we call a recycling process, and this recycling process opens up those small fabric clips. It cuts them into a homogeneous form, and then opens up those clips, and those clips then come back into what we call a fiber form. This cotton fiber clips, or these cotton fibers, are then blended with synthetic sustainable fibers, and I'm going to get into that also in the next and coming slides, to add a bit of, or a degree of strength to it, which as we already know, it being or considered as recycled fabrics or recycled clips, it kind of loses or degrades in its quality parameters. And what happens is you'll have short fibers that come out when you open up these fabric clips. So in order to give it back those quality parameters, give it back its strength and even feel, and different parameters that you like to focus on, we have synthetic fibers that are blended with it in the fiber form. It's prepared, it's drawn, it's carded, and then it's spun into the yarn. From the yarn, the relevant fabric manufacturers can construct whatever fabric they wish to, and then produce the relevant garments that they need to. And it goes back out into the retail market and to the consumer market. Not in any point in this process have I mentioned the use of dyes and chemicals. You don't need that. Now you're going to ask me how and why. It's simply because the form and the condition that we get, the fabric clips, the waste in the first place, we keep it in that form. If it's a blue fabric clip, we use that blue fabric clip and bring it back into the yarn form. Yes, there's a bit of blend, and within the blending, it has a bit of a melange effect, but we'll get into that eventually. And I'll show you a couple of examples which will help you to understand even more. Couple of things to highlight here is in the collection and the sorting of these clips. It has three modalities, and I will come into that as I discuss what we call, or a special project that we're doing, which is called Close the Loop. But just to go through the rest of the process, I mean, just to highlight certain things within the process, we have collaborations with institutes who produce the sustainable fibers. Like I said and mentioned earlier, we are, like I said, we are blending the cotton fibers with sustainable fibers. The sustainable fibers that we're blending it with, we are ensuring that these institutes that we're getting it or sourcing it from are well recognized, certified, and have their processes in place which add a degree of sustainability to it. Of course, that in itself also is a challenge, but yes, in order to ensure that yes, the product in itself has or values up from the condition that we get it in, we have these collaborations to fight greenwashing per se. Moving on, we also offer and we also include traceability in what we do. There's a blockchain technology that's made available through Aware, and there are several other companies around the world, but we're tagged with Aware. So what happens is there'll be a scanner box that any supplier or producer or manufacturer would like to, if they'd like to even ensure that we're properly certified and we are indeed using recycled fibers and we are indeed using the proper recycling method and technologies, then this blockchain technology helps you to understand, this traceable technology helps you to understand and verify that. The products that we produce out of this process is mostly sweaters, circular knits, wovens, socks, home textiles, and denims. Now, just to give you a bit of an example, just to help you to understand that how and where we cater into all this and cater our products or our fibers or our yarns into these products, is we offer a range of counts and range of blends. And based on that, it eventually leverages the requirements for t-shirts, shorts, bags, socks, jeans, and sweater. For example, if you look at the counts that we're mentioning here, we are doing between 5s to 30s. If you look at the blends that we're doing, it's a minimum of 50% of cotton. And again, the global standard necessitates that you have 25%, but we say 50% simply because of the impacts that it offers. If you do 25%, not so much of an impact, not so much of an improvement, doesn't really help you in your environmental footprint reduction if you're concerned for it. So that's why we are offering 50%. 50% gives you more of a tangible impact on it. And like I mentioned earlier, the blends, the sustainable fibers, the synthetic fibers that we're using ranges from poly, polyester, acrylic, viscose, organic cotton, and even virgin cotton. Just again to show you the examples, and then I'll actually get into some of the important details of the different brands that we've worked with, the different styles that we've done, the different blends that we've used in our yarns from the fiber form. Again, we have the littles, the sweaters, the hoodies, the regular sweatshirts, even bags, shorts, and as simple as single jerseys as well. The colors that we can offer, again, we do admittedly rely on the conventional market, the market in which your conventional garments are made. Of course, the colors are reliant on that. Usually what we say or what we intimate to everyone, all of our client base and all the stakeholders is we can offer your blacks, your whites, your blues, your denims. This is all basis of the regular market that's out there in the whether you consider the global supply chain or whether you even consider the supply chain out of Bangladesh. You know, the top two rows that you see here, these are the continuous colors. These are colors that will always be available, right? And at the bottom three are the seasonal colors, and these are colors that we don't have difficulty in making. It's just that we have a strong reliance on the supply chain in itself, and based on that, we can basically cater to whatever is required. Now, I did mention, and these are a few points that I'd like to quickly go through. I hope I have some time. Stephen, just let me know how much time I have. It'd be great to know that.
A couple more minutes, Hasnat.
Okay, sure. I'll just be very, very quick. But this is the important part. This is the part, and I think it was mentioned earlier that, you know, where are the wastes going to, right? And when you talk about waste, in our case, we're focusing mostly on the fabric cut clips or the jute, as we say in local market. So the waste can be catered to through three different models. The first model is the open market, and that everybody knows. I mean, if you're well versed in this industry, you know about that. The second market is through a platform such as Reverse Resources, who's helping us to organize and track and to be able to trace where these different wastes are in. The third model is we work directly with the brands and the factories themselves, as we're indicating here. And we work on these special projects, and we collect fabric clips directly from the fabric mills, bring it back into yarn form as per the requirement, send it back to the same fabric mills, and then they make or construct the relevant fabric and the relevant garment that they require. Just to give you an indication of who we've worked with, we've tagged ourselves with H&M, Bestseller, Primark, Stanley Stella, Cariban, and we've done upwards of 200 tons. It's a very small figure, but it's just to encourage everyone that yes, this is possible, and we are already doing it. We've been doing it for the last 2 or 3 years. This year, 2022, we hope to ramp up even further to about, let's just say about 1,000 tons. And we hope to get there soon enough. Now, in the whole process, through the different modalities of our own supply chain, and with us opening up all the fabrics and catering to whatever relevant garments we would like to cater to out there in the consumer and the retail market, our process offers savings that you can see on your screen. Through our process, we're not using, again, dyes and chemicals, which means we're not using an excess of water. The energy consumption is considerably lower. Of course, you know that we assume that the waste goes into landfill, but in today's world, I believe that the mechanical recycling industry has scaled up really nicely. So there's a lot of options out there worldwide in Asia. But even then, at least through our process or through the mechanical recycling process, we're able to save up on usage of land. These are the tangible impacts that we have through the yarns that we make. And again, it's in our yarns, we ensure that the recycled content or the recycled cotton content is a minimum of 50%. And that's how and when you get this considerable impact. Through our process, again, this is, I know a lot of people would like to challenge me on this, but directly or indirectly, and we don't really stress on putting out there that, yes, we're achieving SDG goals. No, it's not that. It's just that Again, I showed you the tangible impacts that are incurred through our process, and through that, directly or indirectly, we are catering or we are leveraging 14 of the SDG goals, the goals that are highlighted in color, except for 4, 7, and 16. Our process, our products and services, our modus operandi at this point in time, directly or indirectly caters to that. Now, we are in the process of verifying this through a third party. So I hope the next time that we meet or have any sort of conversation, I'll be able to give you some sort of verifiable data on this. Yeah. This is important for any, yeah.
Hasnat, can you wrap up?
Yeah, sure. It's just a couple of slides, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks.
So this is for the brands and retailers out there. We do think about what we do and what we offer, and what we offer falls under the Class A category. I'm sure there's an environmental benchmark for fibers out there. Now, in that, we offer recycled cotton. Yes, we are doing blends, but at least they fall within Class A and Class B of the benchmark for fibers for different brands and retailers worldwide. Again, we have certifications. We are ISO certified, GRS, RCS, OCS certified. It's important to have that. We are on the process of going through the verification for FEM and FSLM. For those of you who know about it, the HIG index, the HIG verification. And again, just to give you a bit of a feel of how and who we've tagged ourselves and collaborated with. We have our customers based in United Kingdom, in France, Germany, Spain. We're based in Europe. We're based in North America, South America, and we've even recently expanded out into the East Asian market, which is the Japanese market, and also into Australia and New Zealand. Last but not least is how we're looking to scale up and match with the industry demands and requirements. Again, we've been in this business, and I haven't told you about the history of CYCLO. We've been here for a good 10 years. It's taken a bit of time, but over the last couple of years, we've ramped up really, really well. I think there's a lot of awareness created, and I believe this webinar is also great towards that. And based on that scale, the industrial scale, well, we will be ramping up our own capacity, our own ability to supply or cater to the sustainability or circularity requirements. We're not only based in Bangladesh, though. We have expanded out into Pakistan and India, and that's how much we're taking this seriously, and that's how much we realize that we're actually capable of expanding ourselves and helping and offering ourselves as a solution to whoever is interested in us. I'll end it right here. Stephen, thank you so much. I'm sorry I've taken a couple of minutes extra. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I mean, this stuff is really